You're still an MP, but you can't officially join Te Pāti Māori until after the elections if you get re-elected. What have you been doing in Parliament in the meantime?
So obviously still have questions in the House that I get to ask ministers, hold them to account. I speak on legislation that's important to our people, and then obviously helping Te Pāti Māori with our policy platforms for the upcoming election.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing in Parliament, but like I said, most of the work in the electorate is just getting around the vastness of my electorate from Pōtaka in the north to Wainuamata, just talking to people, because like you, many of them want to know, why did you leave?
Yeah.
You know, and they don't really watch TV or read papers, they just want to hear it straight from you. So,
Yeah.
you know, for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been just on the ground talking to people, and I've been just quite humbled by people who, you know, are going to follow me regardless of me leaving the party, and that's a reflection of people not understanding how Māori electorates work. It's the person, if you can get the people's confidence in, and you work really hard for them, then they'll pretty much stick with you. And so all I'm doing is making sure that nothing's changed. You know, I still want to represent them. I've just moved to an Indigenous party that I can just unashamedly talk about issues that matter to our whānau.
Because I mean, it will be a test for you, because you know, Ikara Rafiti was Parakura's Horamea's seat, died in the war Labour, and so it will be a test to see whether it's a Labour seat or whether it's a seat.
You're starting to sound like Willie Jackson.
So, no, I'm not meaning to, but
yeah. So I'm just going to say I object to the fact that people say it was Parakura's seat.
Yeah.
The seat has always belonged to the voters of Ikaro Rāwhiti. Of course, we've got strong Labour roots, like everybody in my family. And remember, Te Pāti Māori was formed by those that were in the Labour Party.
Yes,
so
true.
leaving the Labour Party into Te Pāti Māori is not a new thing.
Yeah.
I'm not the first, and I definitely won't be the last.
Yeah.
So we acknowledge the genesis of the Labour Party for starting movements like Te Pāti Māori. But the seat of Ikaro Rāwhiti belongs to the people, and they will have their say this October the 14th.
So you say you won't be the last. Got any more names that are coming over?
Oh, I'm just going to get me back on the show later.
Sounds good. Now, Labour has announced Kusha Tanare Manuel as its candidate to replace you and to compete against you. She's from up Tairāwhiti way. Do you know, and how do you rate her?
Yeah, I've got big respects for Kusha. The Tangaire family is a well-respected family from a place called Rangitukia. So that's up the east coast, a valley. And so she comes from a long line of a chiefly whānau, the Tangaires, and the Manuels, which is the Spanish side.
Okay.
Well, that's her husband's side. But look, Kusha's done so much for Ngāti Porou rugby. That's where she was as the CE. So you used to see her at many of the rugby events. And so, look, she's going to be an extremely formidable opponent in this election. And like all of my general elections, we and I do always pay respect to who's going up for the seat.
Yeah.
And so I will be respecting Kusha as I have done with every opponent, because it is a competition. It is, you know, it's an election and people get to make their choice. And so she'll bring into Labour her networks throughout Ngāti Porou, throughout the sporting community, and so should she in this up and coming election. And of course she's probably done more than just rugby and iwi stuff, and so people just want to know particularly who she is, where she's from, and how giving a vote to her will ensure that their interests and their desires will be met.
Yeah. Now, we've spoken before about how big your electorate is. Is your, because it's enormous, it's from just outside Wellington to way up north, you know, on the east coast. Has your strategy changed for how you deal with it?
No, only the decision to leave a major party into a minor party.
Yeah.
So, and then being prepared that not everyone would understand why I did that. So knowing Māori electoral seats, they'll have confidence in you if you front up and you're consistent. And that's what I've tried to do in the last 10 years, is front up, be consistent, you know, reach into the communities. But obviously, you know, I made a decision that would have caught a lot of people on the hop. And so it's really, that's why the trips around the electorate, touching base with people to answer any concerns and to put any fears away, you know, that I should be punished for leaving, you know, which is Willie Jackson's words, I should be punished for leaving the party, rather than seeing, actually, I've done 10 years of solid service.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do have a right to make a decision to go on a different pathway. I'm still hungry to do the things that I loved under Labour.
Yeah.
I'm just exploring a different flagship that will just give me the freedom to speak up, to share, to challenge. But also, I've always said it's not just about criticising governments or whoever's in that, but actually putting up our Indigenous models, the solutions, because we never talk about the good things. Following Māori knowledge can benefit not just to Māori people, but actually to the nation and therefore the world. And that's what, I'm giving you an indication of what role I'm going to be playing. It's more in that solutions-based focus. So when we say by Māori for Māori, we're actually saying by Māori for everybody.
Yeah. So now, but you mentioned a while back that you've got different teams.
The size of the electorate is massive. I've got 8 hoarding teams.
Wow.
So, you know, I've got one up the coast, one in Gisborne, one in Wairoa, Napier, Hastings, Tamatea, Wairarapa, and
Why
Hutt.
Tamatea?
Because I've got whānau there.
And they want their own team.
And they want their own team. And, you know, I love my whānau from Tamatea, and they do the do's. And so so those are the 8 teams. We've always treated every election uniquely different. But what I've seen in this election is the sort of emergence of more supporters wanting to jump on our campaign. So I think back in the day, when I first started, I think I had one hoarding team, and me driving up and down the coast with my brother putting up hoardings, and it's just a luxury knowing that you know, your hoardings are just. And last weekend, you know, 209 hoardings.
Just like that, eh?
Up.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like I've been cheated, Andrew, because I fixed the one at Pack and Save in Napier, because that one fell down. I kind of like to get my hands dirty as the Kennett to, like, you know, to
drill it in there.
Drill it in there, but they were so slick. There wasn't one hoarding that they left for me to put up, except for the repairing the one at Napier. And I said, I'm turning up to do that, and so there you go. But again, that's just. Not everyone can be in the position we are, but I'm just really fortunate. And hoardings doesn't make an MP, but at least get your face out.
Yeah, yeah.